Python. Before I start, I just wanted to have an idea that what is the audience like? They are faculty members, or they are students, or faculty members in computer science department or different departments. We are starting a computer language. So should I start with the very basics, or I assume that you know any of the computer languages earlier? Kusum ma'am, can you please just let me know that what is the audience like? Research scholars in computer science. Okay.
Yes,
So in that case,
college is also there, faculty members is also there.
And faculty members.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So they already know one language then. Mechanical engineering. Okay. Okay. So so I should assume that they know one. Acha, CSE faculty hai sab log. Fir to koi dikkat nahi hai. Okay, then it is absolutely fine. ठीक है. Thank you so much, ma'am. Okay, so if all belong to computer science engineering, and even if from mechanical engineering, but still you have an idea what is a computer language, and those who are from CS background must definitely be knowing either C, C++ or Java. Maths faculty, okay, Jha sir. So you must also be aware that what is a programming language, and maybe you must have used also any of the languages. Perfect. So thank you so much for just giving me a brief idea about the audience. Thank you. And thank you all of you for joining on a Sunday afternoon and Saturday afternoon. I know it's tough to join on a Saturday afternoon. So thank you so much for joining me. I would take you through the introduction to Python, and it would be mainly on hands-on part only, and the second session that would be on data science. It will also be hands-on only. So I request all of you to please join with a laptop or a computer so that you can do the hands-on along with me. Because on mobiles, you will not be able to do it. So it's better that you join through a laptop or a desktop so that you can practice with me. So Python is a programming language, and it is an object-oriented programming language, which is used mainly nowadays for machine learning and data science projects. But yes, it has lots of advantages, which makes it different from the rest of the languages. But there are certain key points in Python that I would like to discuss. So just give me a second and I'll share a PPT for it. Okay, so Python programming language. I hope you are able to see the screen. Yes, okay.
Yes, madam.
Okay, thank you. So Python programming language. So there are certain advantages and certain properties of Python. First of all, it is an interpreted language. Interpreted means that whenever a language is to be understood by the computer, then it has to be converted into zeros and ones in a format so that the computer can understand it. So in an interpreted language like Java is an interpreted language, in which each and every line is converted to zeros and ones. Like suppose I have written a program. I request all of you to please mute your mic. So if I have written this program, then this complete program needs to be converted into zeros and ones so that it can be understood by the computer and accordingly the execution can be done. So like C, C++, what they do is they convert this complete program at one go into zeros and ones. This is known as compilation. The complete process is actually known as compilation, conversion of a program into binary. But but Java actually does it line by line. So it will first convert this line into zeros and ones and give you if there is any error. Then it will convert this line and let you know if there is any error. Then it will convert this line and let you know if there is an error. So it goes line by line. The actual process is compilation, that is conversion of programming language into machine level language, or you can say into binary. But if it is doing it line by line, it is known as interpreted. It is an interpreted language. Interactive means it has a very nice IDE through which you can interact with the program. And suppose if you're writing a C code or a C++ code, then there are certain lines that needs to be added before you, certain lines have to be written before you start execution of your program. Like you will do include some of the libraries like import. If you're doing it in Java, then you will use import. If you're doing it in C, C++, then you say hash include. And then you have to say int main, and then you would have a brackets. You will write the program, you will close the bracket, and etc etc. So all this needs to be done before even writing a hello world program. But I'll show you in Python, it is only a one-liner code. You just write one line and hello world would be done. So it is a very interactive language in which you do something, you want to do you want your program to do something and it will do it for you. So it's quite easy to write the programs. It's object-oriented language as we have it in C++ and Java. Both are object-oriented languages, which has the advantage of different object-oriented programming paradigms like polymorphism, inheritance, abstraction, information hiding. So all this do exist with Python as well. And it is a beginner's language. Well, those who have not done any programming language earlier, then Python can be very easily learned. It is very, very easy. The syntax is quite simple. So you will not have to face much problems in learning this language. Okay. So let's start with the first program, that is Hello World program. There are two ways by which you can execute a Python code or write a Python code. Either you can go for the installation of Jupyter, Anaconda, or you can just go to internet and say collab. So just write collab. The first link that you get is collab.research.google.com. It will ask you for your Gmail credentials. Just enter your Gmail credentials. And then you say new notebook. As soon as you say new notebook, a new like this, it will be opened. And here you can write your Python code. collab.research.google.com. I'm just copy pasting this in Zoom in the chat box. Kindly click on this and just come to this screen. Once you are through, then just let me know on the chat box. I'll continue. I'll give you 2 minutes of time to do it. Okay, Deepti ma'am. You can change the name here. Please let me know once you are through. Done. Okay, you just write collab.research.google.com. Maybe that will work. Okay. Okay. I'll share this link. This link. It will ask you for your Gmail credentials in that case. So if you learn any program, this is the way how you write comments in Python, by using a hash key. And when you are learning any programming language, there are certain things that you need to learn. You need to know before you write a program in a programming language. So first is data types. Then you should know the loops. Before loops, in fact, you should know the conditional statements. What are the conditional statements? Loops, functions, and data structures. So in this entire 2 hours of time, we'll try to complete all these things: data types, conditional statements, loops, functions, and data structures. In Python, the data structures are lists, tuples, dictionaries, and sets. So this would be the complete overview of this session. And in the next session, that is from 5 to 6:30, we would do NumPy and Pandas, which are the two main libraries in Python, basically used for data science applications. And in the next session, we will talk about NumPy and Pandas. And in this particular session, we'll have the introduction to Python, which includes what are the different data types in Python, conditional statements used, loops, functions, data structures, basically lists, tuples, dictionaries, and sets. So after this session of 2 hours, you would be able to write codes in Python, if not very particular codes or very difficult or long codes, but at least you will be able to understand the codes well. So all of you have done this collab part? You just click on plus code and it will give you one more line. So I'll just give you a brief of what is collab. Yeah. Collab is a platform. It is a cloud platform which is given by Google, and it gives you the flexibility of writing your Python codes on the cloud itself. So it has the compiler of Python. It has the compiler of many other languages as well. So you can term it as a SaaS, that is a software as a service. So it is giving you, this Google Colab is giving you the services on which you can execute your Python codes without actually installing anything onto your systems. If you really want to install something, you can install PyTorch, PyCharm, or Jupyter. All these things are IDEs for Python. And suppose if you don't have that much of space in your laptop, or you don't want to install anything, then you can very well go for Colab. And in fact, you can run your machine learning and data science programs also on Colab. It gives you enough space to do it. Okay. So the first and the foremost thing in Python is the data types is not the ones with which you declare the variables. Like in the case of C, C++, you have to say int a, and then you give a semicolon, which means that it is an integer type. Or you say character C, and then it shows that it is a character type. And you have to mention that whether it is an integer or a character or whatsoever in all the languages, C, C++, and Java. But in Python, it is not so. But in Python, it is not so. In Python, as soon as you say a is equal to 10, so it all depends upon the value which is stored in the variable will become of that type. I'm again repeating. The variable will become of that type depending upon the value which is stored in the variable. So if I store an integer value, the variable will be an integer. If I store a character value, the variable would be a string. If I store a Boolean value, it would be a Boolean data type. If a is equal to 10, printing is fairly easy in Python, just simple print and in brackets. So the syntax for Python, syntax for print statement is print brackets. So the syntax says print and brackets. So it can have a constant or it can have a variable. Constant, if it is a number, I can simply say 2. If it is a variable, I can say A. And if it is a constant string, then I have to put it inside the semicolon, inside the quotes. Double and single quotes are same in Python. So you don't have to worry about this, which is very, very problematic in C++ or Java. So sometimes you have to use double quotes and sometimes you have to use single quotes. But in Python, it is not so. It's fairly easy. So I'll simply say print A. Okay, before than that, hello world program. So I'll simply say print hello world. And if you see here, there is a play button. You click on this. This means actually I'm going for execution. When you are doing it for the very first time, it will take some time because a connection has to be established between your system and the cloud. Again, as I mentioned, Collab is a cloud basically given by Google. So at the very first instance, it will take some time to establish a connection. Once the connection has been established, then it would be fairly fast. See, hello world. This is basically always the first program in any of the languages which you learn. If a similar program, I do it in C++, it would be at least 5 to 6 lines of code. I'll say hash include stdio or iostream.h. If I'm creating a C++ program, so it will be iostream.h. I'll say int main. Then I'll say cout hello world semicolon, and since I have used int main, so I'll go for return statements and that's it. So this would be at least 6 lines of code for just printing hello world. Yes, if it is a C program also, it would be a similar program. Instead of iostream, I'll say stdio.h, and instead of cout, I'll go for printf. If it is a Java code, then it is basically even more problematic. I'll say import java.io, and then I would create a class public static void main string args. I have to write the complete statement there, public static void main capital string args. So this all needs to be written there. Then you will have the brackets. Then you would write system.out.println hello world, and you need to create a class and everything. So even for writing a hello world, simple hello world, it would be a 6 to 7 lines of code. But in Python, it is not so. It is simply hello world. Okay. So I hope everybody has done this hello world. No semicolon is required, Narayan Bhushan sir. That's what I said. Python is very, very easy. No semicolons, no colons, no commas, nothing. Very easy language. The simplest syntax in any of the languages. I gave you the example of C, C++, C++ and Java. In Java also, you will have system, and and Java has the biggest problem of some are capitals and some are smalls. And here it has to be double quotes. It will not work for a single quote like this. And you will have a semicolon at the end of the statement, but nothing like it, like so much in Python. Has everyone done hello world? Yes. Okay. Next, let's take a variable. And I hope everybody is aware of constants, variables, and how the values are assigned to variables. Since you said most of you are from computer science background, and those who are from mathematics background also are aware of any of the languages. Is it so? Should I assume that system dot printing and taking the input from the user, and what is a variable, what is a constant, that all is known to everyone? Yes. Okay. So a is equal to 10, print a and execute it. So it will print a. But how do I know what is the type of this variable? For this, I can go ahead and print type of a. So it says it is of class integer type. That is, it belongs to the class integer type. Okay. Next, now I didn't say anything that whether it is int a or char a or string a. I didn't mention anything. I simply said a is equal to 10. Now if I say a is equal to IIITDM and I say print a, it will print IIITDM. It will not complain saying that it was an integer earlier and you are assigning a string variable to it, etc., as it happens in C, C++ or Java. It will not complain anything and it will be storing IIITDM. Now, if I try to find out the type of it, it will say it is a string type. It will say it is a string type. See, it belongs to the class string. So this means whatever value you are storing in the variable, this is the space which is occupied by a. So if you store 10 in this, a would become an integer. Correct? Now, if you delete this and you store something else in this, IIITDM, if I store IIITDM, then this will become string type. It will not complain. Now, if I delete this and store a float, 3.4, it will become float type. And if I delete this and I store true in this, it will become Boolean type. It will not complain in any of the cases. So let's try doing this. String we have done. Let's see a is equal to true. And we say print the type of a. And we also print a. So now it says it belongs to Boolean type. Then let's say a is equal to 5.6. Print a and print the type of a. Now it will say it is of float type. See? So these are basically the different types of data types which are used: integers, strings, booleans, and float. These are mainly the 4 data types which are used in Python: integer, strings, boolean, and float. So data type is done. Yes. Thank you, Deepti ma'am. You are the most prompt person. Okay, Chetna ma'am. Gupta ma'am. Perfect. I hope I'm not going fast. Please let me know if I'm going fast. Okay. Okay. True, repeated and pasted, madam. True, repeated and pasted, matlab? I didn't get you. Little bit slow, that's what I asked. Yes. So data types is understood, Bhushan sir? Acha, you pasted your output. Okay. Okay. Next, we move on to the conditional statements, and we'll go a little slow in this because their text was very basic. So I went a little fast because most of the people are from computer science background. And if I go slow, then they will get bored. So I'm just sailing in between so that nobody gets bored and everybody understands the things. The next is conditional statements. Now, what are conditional statements? Conditional statements actually are those statements which check for a condition. If a condition, then you perform a set of operations, else you perform a set of operations like this. So this condition can be related to the comparison operators, less than, greater than, is equal to will always have to is equal to and not equal to. Because a single is equal to is for assignment operations, a is equal to 10, and double is equal to is used in if conditions in which I'm checking for whether two variables are equal or not. Correct? So if I say if a is equal to b, like this. So in this case, I'll have to have 2 is equal to, whether a is equal to b or not. So I'm checking for a and b values. So conditional statements are basically you perform certain operations on the basis of the condition. So if the condition is satisfied, then only you will perform the operation, otherwise not. So I have a is equal to 5.6. So continuing from that, if a is greater than 4, and just now see it very, very carefully. We give a colon here. We don't have any brackets or anything in Python. We don't have round, curly, and square, because these set of brackets are used for data structures. So in such cases, for opening and closing of closing the bodies, we don't use this. So have a semicolon, have a colon at the last, press enter. And as soon as you press enter, you see as soon as you press enter, you see this much space is omitted by the IDE itself. What is IDE? Integrated Development Environment. So in Colab, it has given you an environment in which you can execute your Python codes. So as soon as you press enter, this much space is already removed, or that means you are given a tab. Basically, you are given a tab. So don't give a backspace here. This means if, so what is the syntax of if? If a is greater than 4, then this is basically this colon tells the compiler that I'm going for then conditions. And I can start writing the block of code here if the condition is satisfied. Then I'll say else, again a colon, again it will give you a tab, and you can write the next block of code. This is the way how if works. So instead of a is equal to 4, let me just have I'll just write the condition there. So for any condition, so if condition, colon, and this block of code is executed, condition is satisfied. When the condition is satisfied. And this block of code is executed when the condition is false, is not satisfied. Okay. So if a is equal to 4, print the number is greater than 4. And then I'll give a backspace because I have to go apart from my if block. I'll say else, colon. Again, I press enter, I'll get a indentation, print. The number is smaller than 4. That's it. If A is greater than 4, so since my A is 5.6, so this condition is satisfied and I should get the number is greater than 4. See? Try doing it and check for the indentation. Check for the indentation. Okay, Deepti ma'am. Everybody done? Now, at the very beginning, when we say data types and initial name, before then, there is one more thing, IO, that is input and output. How do you do the output and how do you do the input? So output we have already seen using the print statement. Taking the input from the user is also quite easy in Python, not as we have it in Java, that you have to use a scanner class and so on. So in Java, it is not so. It is in Python, it is not so. You simply say G, yeah, I'll say name. I want to take the name from the user. Name is equal to input. And I may or may not give you a message here. So the syntax of input is variable is equal to input. And the message is optional here. Optional message. So I may say, please enter your name. And then I can say print your name is, and if I want to combine the constants and variables, I give a comma. Name is a variable and your name is a constant. I'm again repeating, your name is a constant and name is a variable. So if I have to combine these two, I'll have to use it with a comma. I execute this. So I'll say, please enter your name, Pooja, and it will print it. Your name is Pooja. This is the way how you take the input from the user. Please do it. Yes, it takes input from the user. Indentation error in if statement because you have pressed a backspace, Bhushan sir. That's what I typically mentioned. As soon as you give a enter after a colon, don't give a backspace. When you say if A is greater than 3 and you give a colon, as soon as you give a colon, the compiler automatically gives you a indentation. It gives you a tab. Start writing from there. Don't give a backspace. Start writing from there itself. Print A. Don't give any backspace. It will not give you any indentation error. Please do it first. Bhushnan sir, I'll wait for 2 minutes here for you. Okay, done. So input. But the only one thing in input in Python is it always takes the input in string format. So if you want to take a number from the user, then you have to typecast it to integer. So if I say num is equal to, I have to typecast it. Like if I show you input, please enter a number and I execute this and I give a number. And I try to find out the type of num. Print the type of num. It will say it is of string type. See? Because whenever you are taking the input from the user through input statement, it is always a string type. So you cannot perform any operations on this. So if I say num is equal to num multiplied by 2, yeah, minus 3, it will give you an error. Because it is a string type and not an integer. It will give you an error. So to avoid that, what we do, we say num is equal to int of input and we can give the message, please enter a number. And then I can very well say num is equal to num minus 3 and then I can say print num like this. So I give the number as 10 minus 3, it will print 7. So for you, write a program. WAP stands for write a program to take two numbers from the user and print their sum and difference. So I'll give a hash here. So this will form a comment. Do it. Is it done? So how to write the code for this? Simply say num1 is equal to int. Input. Please enter the first number. Num2 is equal to int input. Please enter the second number. Print, or let's take sum. S is equal to num1 plus num2, and difference is equal to num1 minus num2. And simply I'll say print, the sum is S, print, the difference is D. So it will take the first number, second number, and give me the answer. Another way of doing it is you can combine these two statements together, and you can remove this part and simply say num1 plus num2. Directly you can do it in print also. This will also work. This will also work. Okay, Bhushan sir, perfect. Swapna ma'am, correct? Okay, Dipti ma'am. So the conditional statements are done. Input and output is done. Input, output, and conditional statements are done. The next that we'll do is loops. So as any of the other languages, C, C++, or Java, we do have loops in Python also. And there are mainly two loops here, for and while loops. The same as we do it in Python. For has a different syntax. For I in range, and I give the range. So the syntax says, the syntax of for loop says, for index, that is the variable that you use, for index in range. And the range gives you the start point, the end point, and the increment. If nothing is given, then the end point is by default. The end point is by default. That means if only one number is given, then start is by default 0 and increment is by default 1. What is the meaning of increment? Suppose I start from 0. Always it starts from 0 by default. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I just say range 5, then it will start from 0 to 5 with 5 excluded. With 5 excluded. So it will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. If I say range 6, then 6 would be excluded. I will have a 5 here. Range. So range, if nothing is given, then that is the end point. Otherwise, I can give the range as 1 to 7. In this case, by default, the increment is 1. It will start from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7 is excluded. Or I can give the range as 2 to 10 with an increment of 2. So it will print 2, 4, 6, 8, excluding 10. Excluding 10. So suppose I want to print numbers, natural numbers from 1 to 10. So what I'll say, write a program to print natural numbers from 1 to 10. In this case, I'll say for I in range, it's natural number, so it has to start from 1 till 10. So I'll say 11. I don't have to give an increment. Again, a colon indentation would be given. Print I. And as soon as I say this, it will print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11 is excluded. So that is why I had to print 1 to 10. Why 2 times in a bracket? What? Here 2, this means increment. How the index is going to increment. Matlab it will be 2, then it will be then 2 would be added to 2, 4 would be added to 2, 6 would be added to 2, 8, and so on, like this. So what is the increment that you're going to have is this third number. Yes, Priyanka. When I say range, I say start, end, and the increment. Increment. What is the increment that you're going to have? So if I start from 1, end to 10, and increment is suppose 3. So it will start from 1, plus 3, 4, plus 3, 7, and plus 3, 10. But 10 is excluded. So only 147 would be printed. Let's try that. 1 to 10, 3. So only 1, 4, and 7 would be printed. Print I, 1, 4, 7. Yes? Question for you. Write a program to print even numbers till 10, till 20. Try doing it. Yes, Aman Ali, sir. 17 cell, yeah. Is it done? Yes. So if you want to include 20 also, Deepti ma'am, just say 21. So it would be for I in range. I want to print from 2. I don't want to have 0. 21, 2. Print I for loop. Even numbers from 2 to 20. The next we are going to do while loop. So all the CS people can let me know what is the difference between a while loop and a for loop. Can any one of you let me know what is the difference between a for loop and a while loop? No, Swapna ma'am, it cannot be dynamic. Only condition, no incrementation. Okay, fine. So we don't increment it in the syntax. Yes, very good, Mesvi sir. Radha Krishnan sir. Yes, yes, very good. That is what I was looking for the answer. If we know the exact number of times the loop is to be executed, we go for loop. And if we don't know the number of times it has to be executed, we go the while loop. Yes, Abhilasha ma'am. If we exactly know the number of times it has to be executed, we go for loop because we are mentioning it the range here. We are mentioning the start point and the end point. This is the most important part, the end point. So since we are giving the end point, we know how many times the loop has to be executed. But what if I don't know how many times it has to be executed? Then in that case, I will go for a while loop. So while loop says, generally we go it in the sense ki if we are going for taking the choice from the user. Okay, na? I want to take a number from the user and I'll continuously take the number from the user until and unless the user says no. Okay, na? So while loop. So I'll simply say ch is equal to y. So while ch is equal to y, until and unless it is y, print suppose hello world. And again, I'll take the choice from the user. That is important. Otherwise, it will go for an infinite loop. It will always remain as y. So I have to take the choice from the user. Give the choice as yes or no. So see, hello world is printed. Yes. Again, the hello world would be printed. Yes. Hello world would be printed. Yes. Hello world would be printed. I don't know how many times I'm going to print it. I'm not sure. And as soon as I press anything apart from Y, it will stop. So while loop, don't know the number of times the loop is to be executed. I don't know the exact number of times the loop has to be executed. We go for a while loop. Anything, Sunil sir. Anything, whatever, anything apart from N, anything apart from Y. If I want to do it for N, so while CH is not equal to N. So anything else N, it will work. Anything apart from N will work in this case. So anything, if I press U, it will work. Q, it will work. W, it will work. E, V, कुछ भी चलेगा, बस N नहीं चलेगा. As soon as you give a N, it will stop. So since it was Y, U, Q, E, V, it was working. As soon as you say N, it will stop. So I want to continue the loop unless I say N. Question for you. Write a program to implement a calculator which will continuously ask you for numbers and operation to be performed until and unless the user says N. Try doing it. I'll give you 5 minutes of time to try it out. I've copy pasted the question here. Try it out.
तेरे को बताया हूँ चुप चुप के नहीं।
Okay. Operation, if this is plus, minus. Okay, that's wonderful. Yes, Monali, ma'am, that's absolutely right. Prasad sir, it is incomplete. Where is the operations that you are doing? Where are the operations that you are doing? Okay. Mukta ma'am. So what exactly we have to do? Take two numbers from the user. So I'll just copy this from there. So first of all, I'll say let's the choice is y, while ch is equal to y, or I can say the question says until and unless the user says n. So let's make it like this, and I'll take the two numbers from the user. Then I'll ask for the operation. So operation, yeah, let's make it OP is equal to plus minus addition subtraction. Okay, so I can do anything. Either I can ask the person to say plus minus, or I can say P, S, D, and so on, whatever it is. So suppose if I say input, enter 1 to add, 2 to subtract, 3 to multiply, and 4 to divide. Now, since I'm taking a number, so I'll have to make it as integer. If OP is equal to 1, then what I have to do? Do the addition. So I'll simply say print the sum is, comma, num1 plus num2. Correct? Second, else if OP is equal to 2, yes, print the differences. Else if print the differences here, num1 minus num2. Now in Python, what it is, it's instead of else if, we can simply say elif, like this, elif. OP is equal to 3. We do a multiplication. The product is, and we multiply it. Okay. The fourth one is division. Elif OP is equal to 4. And I'll say print the quotient is num1 divided by num2. And the last but not the least, I'll say else print wrong choice. Wrong choice. Because it's neither 1, 2, 3 or 4. Like this. And last but not the least, I'll have to take the choice from the user whether I want to continue or not. So CH is equal to input. If I don't do it, it will go for an endless loop. Always remember, it will go for an infinite loop. Please enter the choice to continue. So it will be either yes or no. As soon as it says N, it will go out of the loop. That's it. So let's execute this. Enter the first number, second number. I want to add. Yes, I want to continue. First number, second number, I want to divide. No, multiply. Got it. Yes, I want to continue. First number, second number, I want to divide. Yes, I want to continue. First number, second number, and if I give suppose 6, it will say it is a wrong choice. Wrong choice. And now I'll stop. As soon as I give a N, it will stop. Elif, yes. Else if is basically elif. So if I have multiple conditions, then I go for elif. Anything else in the chat box? I'd say you took help of ChatGPT. Please don't do that. Please don't do that because there is no point in taking the help of ChatGPT. Then why am I here for? Please don't do that. ठीक है प्रसाद सर. ChatGPT तो सभी कुछ कर देगा. Okay? Is it understood to everyone? Prasad sir, teachers को replace तो नहीं करेगा, but it is definitely going to reduce the teacher's importance because lots of things would be given by ChatGPT. A lot of discussions and debates have already started on AI and ML. Sunil sir, that's what I gave 10 minutes for this program to execute. I gave 10 minutes for the execution of this program because if you are able to do this program, then of course, conditional statements, loops are clear. So that is why I gave 10 minutes for this program. Actually, the thing is, I have been given only 2 plus 1.5 hours to complete pandas. So imagine I have to complete all the data structures in another 45 minutes. And then I would switch on to NumPy and pandas from 5 o'clock. So Jha sir, it's really a constraint on my side. Thank you so much, Prasad sir. So I'm really sorry, Jha sir, for it, but थोड़ा सा जल्दी करना पड़ेगा because we have to go for all the data structures and it's believe me, trust me, doing the data structures it will not be very easy. And if I don't complete NumPy and pandas, so you would face problems from tomorrow onwards when other faculty members would be going for different types of algorithms of ML. And then if NumPy pandas are not clear, you will not be able to execute the codes. Yes. Thank you, Deepti ma'am. Prasad sir, yes, you can do that. If I get one more day, then definitely I'll go a little slow and I'll cover the things in a better way. In fact, I told Kusum ma'am also about it. It's very short, but a lot of things actually have to be covered. till 1st of June. So that is why Kusuma ma'am is also very helpless in this case. Thank you, Prasad sir. Thanks for the compliment. I think so, Jhar sir, the recordings would be given. I'm not sure, Prasad sir, whether the slot is there or not. I'm not sure. But Jha sir, I think the recordings would be there because this meeting is also getting recorded. So probably you will get the recordings. Yes. So coming to, we have done conditional statements, input, output, loops. The next thing that we have to do is functions. I won't take much time in functions because functions are fairly easy in Python. The most important part in functions is key, we don't have to give the data type. Now we have already seen when we are defining the data also, we don't have to give the type of the data. Correct. So when we are doing it in functions also, we don't have to define the data with the data type. And functions, as it says, whenever you are defining a function, you need to have, so the syntax says def. Def is a keyword which says def, the function name. And then in the brackets, I may or may not write the parameters. That is, it is optional, parameters. Again, a colon and the body of the function. So I need not mention that why the functions are important, what is the usage of the function, why do we do it? I'm not going into all that. But the function will require actually two things: the definition of the function, and the call of the function. If you are defining the function before the call, then it is fine. If not, then you would also need the declaration of the function. So function declaration is used if you are calling the function before the definition. But if you are defining the function before the call, no problem at all. You don't have to declare the function. So as I mentioned, def is the keyword. Suppose I want this hello world program only. So I'll just say print def hello, print hello world. That's it. Okay. And this is the function definition. How I need to call the function? By simply giving the call. Hello world.
हेलो हाँ अभी काम कर रहे हैं 15-20 मिनट में आ जाएगी.
Okay. And if I want to pass a parameter, so I'll simply, suppose if I want to add two numbers, so I define a number. So I'll say num1, comma num2, and I'll say print the sum is comma num1 plus num2. So I execute the definition of the function. How will I call it? Add 3, 4. So it will say the sum is 7. You must already be aware that whenever we are defining the function, there is always a parameter passing. If this is my main program, and this is my function. So when I call the function, I can pass on the parameters. So in this case, I am passing the two numbers. And when I'm returning back to the function, and when I return back, it is just after the call. This is my call. And just after the call would be my next statement where I would return back. In this case, I can just simply pass another parameter. Like in this case, I can pass the sum. But the only criteria is, in this case, I should have something in the LHS when I'm calling the function, because the sum would be stored in this particular variable. Again, I'm repeating. Whenever I'm calling the function, whenever I'm saying F1, I'm calling the function, I need to have something on the LHS left-hand side. And I would have a is equal to. So whatever parameter I am returning from the function, that would be stored in A. And mind you, I can return only one parameter at a time. I cannot return more than one parameter because I cannot have more than one on the left-hand side. So in this case, if suppose I want to return the sum part, so I can say def, suppose if I create one more function, add one, num1 comma num2, and I'll say s is equal to num1 plus num2, and I say return s, simple. So in this case, if I have to call this function, I'll say a is equal to add 1. I'll give the values, and here I'll say print a. So 7 would be printed. Ramesh sir has raised his hand, so you can unmute your mic and speak, please. Definition syntax part. Def is the keyword, name of the function, and the parameter list. Def is the keyword, name of the function, and the parameter list. Okay? Deepti ma'am? Somebody raised his hand. So I can pass the parameters to the function and return the values to the function. So just to have a better way of understanding, write a program to take a number from the user. Yeah, write a function. Write a program to define a function to print the table of a number passed to the function. Or you can repeat it like this, ki you are writing a function to take the number from the user and that is passed to the function. So basically the prototype of the function would be, this is a prototype, def table num. This would be the prototype of the function. This is how we actually declare the prototype. What is the def is the keyword, what is the name of the function, and what are the parameters of the function. Try doing it. Try doing it. I just created a very small Google form just to keep in touch with you all. It would be very nice if you can just fill this form. And it will also let me know where I stand. Achha, one more thing is left. Okay, just give me a second. One more thing is left in that form. I need to add remarks also there. Just one more thing. And that is not required, so you may add it. Remarks. So you can add whatever suggestions would you like to give. Yes. Now you can fill the form. Please fill that form, the Google form which I have shared. When I've written branch there, so branch is basically the department, in which department you are there. So how do you define the function? Def table num, and you print the table. Print, or you'll have a for loop for I in range. Okay, I will not tell you. I will not tell you. Do it. Take 5 minutes of time to do it. Okay, so let's have a for loop here for I in range. Now, since I'm printing a table, so I'll start from 1 till 11 because I want it from 1 to 10. 1 to 11. And I'll simply write the print function directly. And I want to have it in the format 2 2s are 4, 3 3s are 6, 3 2s are 6 in this manner. So I'll say print num multiplication sign multiplied with I, and then I'll give a is equal to sign, and then I'll say num into I, num into I in this format. So I have defined the function, how to call the function, table, and I'll give the number. So the table of 9 would be printed. Yes. Swapna, just try to modify the print function, the print command, the syntax, the command of print. Put it in this format. 9 1s are 9, 9 2s are 18, like this. I don't think I would be able to do list tuples, dictionaries, and sets in half an hour. I can just give you an introduction to all 4 of them. Alignment of digits on the right hand side. This one, where you are talking about? Yes, my email ID.
In output, there is a 9 at left hand side where other digits are in a double digits. So how we can arrange 9 at right hand side as a output?
No, you cannot. You don't have any thing in your output. The only thing is you can have these spaces between is equal to
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
and between multiplied by. So then that 9 will not be a problem. But still 90 would be a little far off. So it's not in your hands basically. Because 10 is a 2-digit number. Or you can do one thing, you make it till 10, and for the 10th one, you print it separately. For the 10th one, well, this is only the logic that I'm giving you. Multiplied by 10, and you give some extra space after, you give some less space after is equal to. Num into 10. हो गया. But yeah, it's not a good idea of doing it, but it's fine. Whatever you wanted is done.
But ma'am, that is for all double digits. Again, there is a
Yes.
issue regarding 9 in first one.
No, this is on the same line, na? This is on
No.
the same line.
That's good. That's good. But I need a 0 put at before
That's
the 9.
what I
So it
said.
will be
You
good.
cannot
Yeah.
modify the output.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
cannot
I
do
got
it.
the idea, but behind your
Yes.
logics. Yes.
Yes, yes, yes. You cannot modify the output, but the only thing is you wanted it, we did it. But it is you cannot do it. There is not a standard way of doing it. Yes, there Prasad sir, it's not in my hand directly, please. Okay. It's not in my hand, Prasad sir, at all. You have sent me a direct message, so I think nobody else is able to see that. Actually, Prasad sir was saying to have a Python learning course like this. But sorry, it's not in my hands. So function call is here. This is the function call. This is the function call. Okay. Is it okay? Shall we proceed further? No, it's absolutely fine. Pooja Jain is absolutely fine. No problem, Prasad sir. Shall we proceed? Okay. I would request all of you to please have a message for everyone so that whenever I'm replying to your message, then all others also know what I am referring to. So please, whenever you are writing a message, write it for everyone. So whenever I'm replying to your message, it's for everyone. Okay. So now coming to the data structures, list, tuples, dictionaries, and sets. So there are 4 types of data structures used: list, tuples, dictionaries, and sets. And all 4 of them have their own properties and functionalities. So if I have to compare these 4, then there are certain attributes on the basis of which I would like to compare them. So this comparison can be in the form of, you can say definition, how they are defined. Definition, how they are defined. Whether it is mutable or not. Mutable means you can make any modifications into it. Whether it is mutable or not. The second thing can be whether duplicates are allowed or not. Okay. So if I talk about lists, so it is defined in the form of square brackets. Yes, it's mutable and duplicates are allowed. And the fourth one is ordered, whether they are ordered or not. Ordered means it will have a subscript and I can access it with the help of those subscripts. So what is the meaning of ordered? Those who have done arrays would be able to know that arrays are ordered data structures. So this is ordered. This is 0, 1, 2, and 3. So suppose the name of this data structure is A. So I have the values as 24, 36, 48, and 50. Then A of 0 is equal to 24. A of 1 is equal to 36. Like this is known as ordered list. So I have a fixed order of the values which are stored in it. The arrays are stored as fixed order and these are known as ordered. But if it is not ordered, I have a box and I have the values here. I have 11, I have 21, I have 31, I have 41, I have 51, 61. Now this is a box. I don't know where is 61 is stored. I don't know where is 51 stored. I don't know where is 41 stored. This is unordered. Okay. So ordered, yes. Then I have tuples. These are done with the help of round brackets. It is immutable. This is the most important part. It is immutable. You cannot make any modifications into it once it has been defined. Duplicates are allowed. It is also ordered. Then we have sets. These are defined with the help of curly brackets. They are mutable. Duplicates are not allowed and it is not ordered. And the last but not the least, dictionaries. These are also defined with the help of curly brackets, but the most important part is it has key value pairs. So as soon as you give a key value pair, the compiler will get to know that it is a dictionary and not a set. It is mutable. Duplicates are allowed in the form of values. So I would say yes and no both. Keys cannot be changed. Keys cannot be duplicated, but values can be. And it is, you can say it is not ordered basically. There is no fixed order for it. It is only accessed with the help of keys. Okay, so as per your requirement, as per your application, you can have the different data structure for your choice. So let's define a list first. L is equal to a list with round bracket, square brackets. And all of them are heterogeneous. Heterogeneous means it will have integers, strings, floats, Boolean, and it will have duplicate values also. 534, 534, 534. It will have duplicate values also. So let's execute this. And if I say print L, it will print the list. And if I want to find out what is the type of it, it will say it is a list. Okay. Try doing it. Thank you, Prasad sir, for the compliment that you like the session and you want another such type of workshop with only Python learning. Thank you so much. Now, there are a lot of functions that can be performed on lists, a huge set of functions, in fact, because lists are the most widely used data structures in Python. And we have a series of functions that can be performed on lists. There are a series of functions that can be performed on list. I'll share these two slides with you, no problem. Like these are the functions that can be performed on lists. Append, clear, copy, count, extend, index, insert, pop, remove, reverse, and sort. And with the help of these functions like pop and remove and etc., we would be able to implement stacks and queues and trees. So let's perform one or two operations. Let's add something to it. So I'll say L dot append triple IIT. Append is always added at the last. So if now I want to print L, if you see print L, you will see triple IT is added at the last. See, it's added at the last. I can create a copy of this, L dot copy, and I can print L1. And I can say clear L1 dot clear. It will clear all the values. So if I say now print L1, it would be an empty list. Try doing it, copy and clear. And then there are various other functions that can be performed on list. As I mentioned, count, extend, index, etc., etc. Like count means how many times a particular element is appearing. Since I said it allows duplicate elements, so I'll say L dot count, and I say how many times 534 appears. So it says it appears 4 times. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 times. So similarly, there are many other functions on lists. Again, due to the shortage of time, I won't be able to cover all. Let's move on to tuples. As we have already discussed, tuples are similar to lists, but the only difference is they are immutable. We cannot make any modifications on the tuples. As we did append and add and copy and all this, that cannot be, copy can be done, but the rest of the functions cannot be performed on tuples. So if I say T is equal to with round brackets, same, heterogeneous, float, Boolean value, all is allowed, and it will also allow duplicates. It will not complain. So now if I say print T, it will print the tuple. And I can also print the type. What is the type of T? So it will say it is a tuple. It's a tuple. I could have also printed the type of the list. In the type of L, it will say it is a list. Yes. Rahman sir, yes, there would be a break after 4:30. Yes, Deepti ma'am, I'll give the slides to Kusum ma'am and she would share it. Or I can send a mail to you also, as you have already filled the Google form and I have your email IDs. So since I have your email IDs, I'll send you a mail with these two slides. We'll have a break at 4:30 and then we'll join together again at 5. So since I said we cannot make any modifications in tuples, so if I say T dot append 3, it will give me an error. because I cannot make any modifications in the tuples. And the third thing that we said is ordered. So we can access an element of the list. If I say L3, it will give me the fourth element, basically, the fourth element. 1, 2, 3, 4, 464. If the time permits, I'll go for slicing. But before then that, I'll cover sets and dictionaries also. Okay, so I cannot make any modifications in the tuple, but tuple is also ordered. I can access the fourth element like this in tuple also. So it is also ordered. It is also ordered heterogeneous, but the only difference is I cannot make any modifications. Like in the list, suppose I want to modify this third element to 34. Third element to 34. So now if I say print L, the fourth element would be 34 now. See, fourth element is 34. But I cannot do so in tuple. I cannot do so in tuple. It will give me an error. Got it? I'll share this code file also with you, this IPYNB file also with you all in the same email ID. So I will share the two, this PowerPoints, the PowerPoint which I discussed, and this code. Yes, Prasad sir. So tuples are basically used in such cases in which you want to have the accounts, the account details. So account details, you never need to modify the account details. That can be a tuple. Then employee record in HR can be a tuple. But yes, again, you cannot remove anything. So only those cases in which we do not want to make any modifications, we'll go for tuples. Bhushnan sir, I have already mentioned that I'll share the IPNB file. Yes. I'll share the PPT and the IPNB file. I have your email IDs. I hope you all have filled that Google form. No, I have received only 53 responses. And there are 108 participants. 141 participants. I request all of you to please fill that Google form. Because until unless you will fill the Google form, I won't be able to share the slides with you all then. Please fill the Google form. Now coming back to this, the third very important data structure is sets. Sets are defined with the help of curly brackets. It is also heterogeneous. It is also heterogeneous. Like this. Okay. And it is mutable. I can make modifications into it. Suppose if I say print S and I want to also find out the type of S. What is the type of S? It will say it is a set. It is a set. Now there is a huge list of operations that you can perform on sets. Here. It's a huge list of operations that you can perform on sets. All this can be performed on sets. It doesn't have anything as append. Why? Because it is not ordered. Append 4. It will give you an error. If I want to access the third element, it will give you an error because it is not ordered. It is not subscriptable. But I can add to it. Add 45. And it can be added at any location. It's not necessary that it has to be added at the last. See, 45 is in the middle. It's not necessary that it can be added only at the last. And most important advantage or most important property of the sets is it doesn't allow duplicates. So if I say s dot add, 34 is already there. So if I say 34, it will not give you any error. It will not give you any error, but it will have 34 only once. 34 only once. Try doing it. Please try doing it. I'm giving you 2 minutes of time to try it out. Declare a set and add an element to it and check. It will not allow for duplicates. I've shared the link again. $69, still everybody has not filled in. So only those who have filled in would be able to get those material. For the others, they will have to contact Kusum ma'am for the same. Individual elements in the set by using a for loop. Sets are used in a lot of applications, Prasad sir. Like suppose you want to find out, okay, so you have an elective which is floated for the students, okay, and you want to know that how many students or which of the students have applied for the elective. You cannot have duplicates. You one student cannot appear twice, okay, and I don't care that how those students are stored in that set. It can be in any order. It doesn't have to be roll number wise. So it is not ordered. It is only finding out that how many students have or which of the students have enrolled for the elective. And we have lots of functions on sets, union, intersection. So like suppose I have two electives like this. So I can check how many students have applied for it by using a union. I can check, is there any student who has applied for both the subjects? I can go for intersection. So all this can be done. Got it? Like suppose if I want to find has any student applied for both the subjects by mistake, I can find out the intersection of those sets. One subject is neural networks and another subject is natural language processing. So is there any student who has applied for both the electives? I can find it out. Then I can find out that how many students have applied for NLP. Yes, set means simple maths. So whatever functions that we can perform on sets in maths, we can do it here also. So I have one set, I have another set. So I can find out the intersection, I can find out the union, I can find out the difference, all that can be done. That's what I showed, the different functions, difference, union, intersection, union, and there are lots of functions that can be performed. Again, shortage of time, I won't be able to go for all the functions. Last but not the least is dictionaries. So dictionaries is actually a key value pair. So I'll simply say D is equal to, again, the curly brackets, and I can give the values there. So first of all, I'll give the key, name, and the value for it. Suppose if I say Pooja, comma, the next key value pair. The next key value pair, organization. IIIT, like this. Next key value pair, city, the value for it. Got it? So as soon as you give a key value pair, the compiler will get to know that I'm talking about a dictionary. And it will say that it is a dictionary. Print the type of D. So it will say it is a type of a dictionary. There are lots of functions which can be performed on dictionary as well. These are the functions. I can copy a dictionary. I can get an item for a dictionary, pop an item, keys, values. Like I can simply say d.keys. It will give me all the keys. So it has 3 keys, name, orange, and city. I can find out all the values. Pooja, IIIT in Nagpur. And I can go for all the items. It will give me all the key value pairs. And I can find out for a particular value also. So what is the value for name? What is the value for org? What is the value for city, and so on? And I can make the modifications also into this. That's what I said. They are mutable is equal to Rahul. So now if I print D, it will say name is Rahul. I can make the modifications. Okay, I can make the modifications there. So dictionaries are mutable and it has a key value pair. But there are various applications of dictionaries, various applications like student data set, database of electoral, anything. If you want to create a data set which has a key value pairs, and in DBMS, we have so many applications of key value pairs, we'll go for dictionaries in that case. Now there can be lots of things added to it. We can have a list of dictionaries. We can have list of tuples. We can have a list of sets. We can have a set of lists, etc., etc., etc. So again, I'm really sorry that I had to cover entire list, tuples, dictionaries, and sets in 25 minutes. But I don't had any other option. I didn't have any other option. I'm really sorry for that. But I have tried giving you a glimpse of dictionary sets, tuples, and list, so that if you have any question or you have a solution to a question, then you can at least understand that solution. And when we would be talking about NumPy and pandas from 5 o'clock, then at least you know what is a list, what is a tuple, what is a dictionary. So that was my aim of letting you know the basics, and then you can perform a lot of operations onto this. I would be sharing that PPT with you. You can try doing those functions on that. And there are various other programs. Now, one of you already said ChatGPT. So go on ChatGPT and give programming questions on dictionaries. You will get a list of questions. Give programming questions on tuples. You will get a list of questions. Try executing them. That will increase your hands-on. That is the only way by which you would be able to have a good hands-on on Python. Thank you so much, sir. Yes, I do agree it cannot replace, but thank you, Deepti ma'am. Thank you so much. We can break at this point of time, and we'll join together again at 5 o'clock with NumPy and Pandas libraries, because those two libraries are really very important. Those two libraries are really very important for data science and machine learning applications. Thank you so much, Ayush, sir, Swati ma'am.